The 1963 Corvette, especially with its split rear window, has become an icon in automotive history, not just in the United States, but around the world. The second-generation Corvette, or C2, was considered America's very own supercar. But what if I told you that nearly 8,000 miles away in South Africa, an equally bold and unique car was being built around the same time? A homegrown sports car, crafted with a fiberglass body, engineered from the ground up, and yes, even featuring that signature split rear window. It was called the GSM Flamingo, and while it shared striking similarities with the Corvette, almost no one outside South Africa knows it ever existed. Why? The answer may surprise you. You see, the Flamingo might have been a South African creation, but its story didn't start on the sunny streets of Cape Town. Instead, it began in post-war England, in the damp, industrial towns of the 1950s. Fiberglass discovery. In 1956, a South African engineer named Willie Meissner was living in the UK when he came across something revolutionary: fiberglass. Back then, fiberglass was still very new in the car world, especially in South Africa. But to Willie, this lightweight, strong material sparked an idea. Willie and Bob's vision. Willie and his longtime friend Bob Van Niekerk had always dreamed of building their own sports car. The problem? South Africa wasn't like Turin or Maranello. There were no coach builders to shape car bodies, and getting one made in Italy would cost too much to ever sell it back home. Fiberglass, however, could change everything. Willie immediately wrote a letter to Bob back home, urging him to come to England. Bob didn't hesitate. He packed his bags and joined Willie to chase their shared vision, building GSM. Together, they started training in local fiberglass workshops, learning every detail they could. Each day brought them closer to their dream. But as time passed, reality kicked in. They realized they only had one real chance at this. And if they were going to build a sports car, it had to be done right, or it wouldn't sell at all. Then, in what felt like perfect timing, they met another South African, Verster DeWitt, a car designer who had worked on the Sunbeam Alpine. Verster didn't just offer tips. He mentored them in automotive styling and helped define the look of their future company, which they named GSM Glass Sport Motors. GSM Dart. After many design attempts and plenty of revisions with Verster, GSM finally had a body design they were proud to attach their names to. With their newly learned skills, a rough prototype, and a fiberglass body mold, they took the next big step. They built and sold one prototype body in the UK. That sale helped pay for Bob's return ticket to South Africa and shipping costs for the mold. It wasn't much money, but it was enough. Back in Cape Town, the duo turned their workshop into a makeshift factory. Resources were limited, but their drive was limitless. Their first car was called the GSM Dart. For South Africa, it looked like something from outer space. Design-wise, it resembled British roadsters like the Daimler SP250 or early MGs. Yet the Dart actually came before many of those designs. Its lightweight fiberglass construction gave it a clear edge. Not only was it stylish, it was affordable and reliable. Two key things for a successful sports car. The Dart came in both open-top roadster and hardtop versions. The hardtop had a slightly bulky look, but the car's performance made up for it. It used a body-on-frame layout and borrowed parts from existing vehicles to keep costs down. The front had transverse leaf springs, and the rear used coil springs. Handling was basic but fun. Engine options varied. Customers could choose between small but capable motors like the Ford Anglia 100E and 105E Coventry Climax engines, and even some rare 1.3L Alfa Romeo units. Horsepower ranged from 50 to 100, depending on the setup. It may not sound like much, but when you're driving a car that only weighs about 1,100 pounds, that's plenty of punch. In fact, the GSM Dart performed well in motorsports, winning endurance races in Africa and even competing in Europe. Some Darts even made it to England, sold in kit form under the name GSM Delta, though only in small quantities. GSM Flamingo. But the car you clicked on this video to learn about is the one that came after the Dart, the GSM Flamingo. Now, I know what you're thinking. Flamingo doesn't sound like a sports car name. And you're right, it doesn't scream speed or power. But don't let the name fool you. The Flamingo was no lightweight. It was a real sports coupe built to take on Europe's best, especially cars like the Porsche 356. Released in 1962, the Flamingo was meant to be a more polished, high-performance follow-up to the Dart. Where the Dart was a simple, open roadster, the Flamingo was a sleek, fastback GT. Its design was more refined. The front looked cleaner, the sides more sculpted, and the roofline flowed smoothly into a dramatic split rear window, just like the '63 Corvette. But But here's the twist. GSM didn't copy the Corvette. In fact, the Flamingo came out a full year before the Corvette with a split window did. Underneath that curvy fiberglass body was a completely new platform. GSM originally planned to use a Ford the 5.6, but it wasn't ready in time. So instead, the Flamingo was launched with a 1.7L Ford Taunus inline 4 and later used the 1.5L Ford Cortina engine. These motors made 70 to 80 horsepower, which, while modest, worked well for the car's size. But the Flamingo wasn't just about new looks and new engines. It had a much more advanced suspension system than the Dart. Up front, it had independent wishbones with mini-style rubber cones. And in the back, it featured an asymmetric trailing arm setup, a design that improved grip and traction. The Flamingo was heavier than the Dart, yes, but it was also more refined, smoother to drive, and much better suited for longer journeys. The interior was more polished, and the ride was more comfortable. And as for the design, just ask Gordon Murray. Gordon Murray's endorsement. Yes, Gordon Murray, the legendary Formula One engineer and creator of the McLaren F1 and Gordon Murray T.50, was so impressed by the GSM Flamingo that he owned a 1964 model himself. That kind of praise doesn't come lightly. Despite all this potential, the Flamingo turned out to be GSM's final act. The company shut down in 1964, leaving behind just 2 sports cars, but a huge legacy of creativity and determination. Exact production numbers are unclear, but it's believed that about 120 Flamingos and around 170 Darts and Deltas were made during GSM's short run. So next time you see a 1963 Corvette split window, the one you've seen in posters or at auctions, remember that halfway across the world, a small group of South African dreamers had already captured that idea in fiberglass. The GSM Flamingo didn't have the brute force, the big marketing campaigns, or global fame, but it had something special: the boldness to try, the talent to deliver, and the vision to build something timeless. In every sense, it was South Africa's split-window Corvette, a car that almost no one outside the country knows, but one that deserves to be remembered. If you enjoyed this video, like and share this video with other car enthusiasts. Don't forget to subscribe to Crypt for more documentary-style videos.